And the great thing about that is they're both weak to fighting types, so it really wouldn't matter anyway. Speaking of Cloyster, I can't really stand that Pokemon anymore. Back in 4th gen, oh my gosh, I loved him. I had a team that was a Classic Cup team. 1st gen only. First 149 Pokemon only. Because not counting the 2 Ubers of the generation Mewtwo and Mew, obviously. And Cloyster was great. He could set up stealth rocks, he could take physical blows as long as it wasn't fighting or rock. And he was awesome. I loved it. Granted, he wasn't high up on the tier lists, obviously, because, his other stats aren't exactly desirable, but he had a niche. He could set up spikes. He had plenty of utility. And now, Shell Smash? What the fuck? Oh my gosh, they just completely made him absurdly powerful. Just about anything with Shell Smash is absurdly powerful, but Cloyster is a very specific and unique case because his ability Skill Link that he can get, that combined with Rock Blast or Icicle Spear, it's like, GG, thanks, goodbye. I personally don't use one. I don't have one. I haven't bothered. And I don't really think I plan on doing it because I think even if I went through the trouble to breed one, raise it, train it, do all that fancy fun stuff, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't use it because that's just, I don't know. No. I'm not bashing people that use it, but it seems almost too easy. Because honestly, Shell Smash, you automatically get +2, +2, +2 to your attack, special attack, and speed. I realize I'm preaching to the crowd and you all know this. But that boost with only a -2 stat drop in defense and special defense, if your opponent doesn't have priority, and I mean priority good moves like Bullet Punch from Scissor, or Metagross, or Machamp, or Mach Punch from Conkeldurr, or Infernape, something super effective that's going to take advantage of that defensive drop that Cloyster gets when he uses that. Unless they have that, that's pretty much the game. It really is. Because it's so absurdly powerful. Now me, I like playing for power. That's fun and all. But I don't know why. I just have a problem with that. I love setup Pokemon. And the reason why is because I like prediction. I love using prediction. I love using what I have learned up into that point, up until that battle, and then applying that. It's like, okay, he's most likely, if he has these 2 Pokemon on his team, he might have this one as well, and switch to it if I use X move. Predict correctly, and it's huge. And I love prediction. It's a great feeling when you outpredict somebody. It sucks if you mispredict. It really sucks because more often than not, with offensive teams and even some balanced teams, which is what I usually like to use. I like a balance. A lead who's either physical or special attacker. You got special sweeper, physical sweeper, one of each type of wall to absorb physical or special hits respectively, and a revenge killer. Very simple setup, very classic, but I enjoy it, and it works. I love it. It requires a good amount of prediction and a good amount of skill. So it's a much more accurate gauge of skill than some other strategies that are out there. Cough, stall users, cough, paraflinch users. But anyway, moving on. Let's touch on another topic, and this is a big topic for for 5th gen Pokemon battles. Wi-Fi, Battle Sim, whatever. Auto weather. Now, some people cringe and some people are like, fuck yeah. I'm one of those people, I'm kind of on the fence because I like some of the strategies that can come out of those. I remember towards the end of 4th gen, there was such a high percentage of people running lead Abomasnows and just using Sub-Seed with it. And that got really boring for me. I mean, back in 4th gen, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, whatever, you know, you had Hail and you had Sandstorm from either Hippowdon or Tsar. And all three of those things were dealable. You could deal with them easily enough because Sandstorm could sometimes help you if you had something that would get a boost from it. And otherwise, other than that, you're really just taking some residual damage. Because more often than not, unless it's something that's extremely defensive to begin with, the buff to the special defense for rock types that they get from Sandstorm really isn't that much. It's not that big of a deal. It's not a huge difference maker. Now, if you're running like a bulky Tyranitar, which I've got one of those, a bulky Tyranitar with like max HP and a ton invested into special defense, careful nature, something like that, then that special defense boost will actually count for something, and he can survive, you know, some more special oriented hits, and that's great. Especially if they're not super effective. If they're neutral, he's really not going to be taking, you know, jack shit for damage, and it's great. I love it. But now in 5th gen, we've got auto weather for rain. We got an auto rain dance in Drizzletoad, and we've got auto sunny day in Drought Tails. And it's, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Those Pokemon on their own are generally crap without those abilities, and nobody really used them until they had these abilities, and the only reason to use them is to get that auto weather. And to me, that's a problem. If you're giving a Pokemon an ability just so people use it, it's, I don't know. I mean, I see so many Drizzle teams and Drought teams out there. I myself have one of each, and I enjoy using them. But honestly, I prefer to shy away from the auto weather, and it's a difficult thing to do, admittedly. In 5th gen, I honestly am pretty close to believing and being sold on the fact that if you're not running weather or at least counter weather for something on your team, that you have a much lower likelihood of being successful in 5th gen battles. And it's really unfortunate when the metagame gets centralized that much. And in Smoggin's most recent Smogcast, I'll take a blip off of that. They were right in saying that it centralizes the metagame around weather, and that instead of becoming a 6v6 battle, more often than not, it becomes 1v1. It becomes Politoed versus Tyranitar, or Ninetales versus Politoed, or Ninetales versus Tyranitar, whatever. Because nobody uses Abomasnow because Hail sucks. It's true. It's a fact. And it just, I don't know, when it throws off the metagame that much, I think that's a problem. And I really think that Smoggin kind of had the right idea when they decided to ban Drizzle Swift. You know, you cannot have Drizzle and a Pokemon with Swift Swim as an ability on the same team now. Unless, of course, it's Uber tier. But, you know, nobody plays Ubers because Ubers is boring. It's pretty much all the same shit. And the problem with that is, though, that they banned Drizzle, the combination of Drizzle and Swift Swim, but they didn't ban other very similar or identical combinations for the other weather types. And that's why I've got a problem with it. And I mean, seriously, I have run into plenty, before they banned Drizzle Swift, I ran into plenty of lead Politoed, and then here comes Choice Band Kabutops, or Kingdra. And then it's like, whoa, okay, GG. Unless, of course, you take out the Politoed and you bring out something with weather of your own.